Hi survivors, and welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to look at how to build a fence in DayZ. To start off, we're going to need some supplies. You will want 2 wooden logs, 1 box of nails, a hammer or a hatchet, 20 wooden planks, a spade, a rope and some sticks. Wooden planks can be found at spawns like this or by chopping up wooden logs with a saw. Sticks can be found by interacting with a bush to gather a long stick and easily split into 2 short sticks. Now that we have our rope and 2 sticks, we can now put one in our hand and then highlight the other and combine them both together by holding the R2 trigger to craft a fence kit. Once we've got our fence kit, we want to put it in our hands. Then pressing the R2 trigger will give us the outline of the fence kit and the option to deploy it. You can move the fence kit around by using your right thumb as you would do normally to look, and then you can change the angle by pressing up or down arrows on the D-pad, which can be handy for those tricky to reach spots. When you want to build a building, one thing to note is that when the fence kit is first deployed, you're always stood around the back of the fence looking out. You can pivot the fence 180 degrees around using your up and down arrows so that you are looking at the front of the fence, not the back. Try not to place it too close to the building because you do need to go between the building and the fence when you start to build. Another thing to note when you want to start building is how far away you can have the fence kit. As you can see here, the transparency of the fence kit is changing. When it goes clear and see-through, it means it's too close or too far away and I can't deploy it. The fence kit needs to be white so that it can be deployed. And this is what the fence kit looks like after it's been deployed. As we walk up to the fence and press our touchpad, we can see in the vicinity that the fence base is there ready to be built, and the first materials we'll need are our 2 logs. But you can only carry 1 log at a time as they are heavy items, or you can carry 1 in the backpack as well if you have enough slots. As we carry the log to the fence, you will notice that a prompt to attach by pressing R2 appears. Or we can press our touchpad to see the vicinity, highlight the log that's in our hands and hold X to drag and drop the log into the material sections of the fence. Now that the logs are attached to the fence, we're going to need our shovel or other digging tool to build the base. And there we go, you can see that our base has now been built. And in the vicinity, you can see that the fence now shows more options like materials and attachment. The next step is to build our frame. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go and pick up our 2 stacks of planks, our box of nails and the hammer or hatchet. As we walk back over to the fence, we want to unbox the nails by placing them in our hands. Then, by holding R2, we will unbox the nails. Walking up to the fence with the nails in our hand, we will see the option to attach by tapping R2, or you can go into your machine and use the drag and drop method like before. After that, we want to do the same with the planks. Once we've done that, we want to put our hammer into our hands and then come out of the inventory screen to see this prompt to build by holding R2. Or by pressing the D-pad up and down on arrows, we can change the option of what we want to build. I'm going to select the lower frame and start building that first. Once the lower frame has appeared, we will see that the materials we have used have been taken out of the material section. Next, we're going to build our upper frame by pressing up and down on the D-pad until we find the right prompt, then hold R2 to start building. Now that we have the frame built, we're going to want to start building the wooden walls. So as you can see by this prompt, we can build up a wall or the lower wall, and again I'm going to start off with the lower wall first. As you can see, the lower wall has been built, so I'm going to straight ahead and build the upper wall as well. And there we have it, our wooden wall has now been built. As you can see, there's some materials left over which we can use for our next fence. There's two types of walls you can build, the wooden wall and the metal wall. So here I'm going to show you how to build the metal wall. You first build the fence as usual up to the framework, but instead of adding the second stack of wooden planks, we're going to add our metal sheets, which look like this. Again, these are heavy items, so you can't carry them in your backpack, you have to carry them in your hands. We're now going to attach them to our materials as we did our wooden planks, and then with our hammer in our hand, we will start to build our metal wall. And now we have a completed fence. Here you can see the wooden fence and the metal fence together. You can see that there's also some attachments you can have in the material section. You can see that there's a place for some wire, and also above there's a camo net slot and barbed wire slots for the upper and the lower sections of the wall. What we're doing next is I'm going to show you how to attach these items and what they do. We're going to start off with the wire by adding that to our material section of the gate. With the wire in place, I'm going to take our pliers and put them in my hands. As you can see, when you look at the gate, you get the build gate prompt. So by holding R2, this will allow me to turn the fence into a gate. You can see by the way the wire has been wrapped around the wooden log in the frame as a hinge, and then pressing square, I can open up my gate and press square again to close the gate. What's the point in having a gate if you can't lock it and keep your base secure? So here I have in my hands a 4-dial combination lock. In order to change the combination, make sure you're looking somewhere away from your gate. Then by holding R2, you can change the dial combination. You can see in the bottom left hand corner, by tapping R2, it moves it to the next combination. Here you can see I've changed the lock to show 4444. Now that I have set the code for my combination lock, I can walk up to the gate to see the prompt to attach the lock. Once I attach the lock, you can see the padlock is wrapped around the log and frame, and now I don't have the option to open the gate. To open the gate, you have to type in your code. You can do this by holding the square and counting the circles or clicks until you get to your number for your code, then tapping square to move to the next row. Once you get your combination correct, the padlock drops on the floor and you'll be able to pick up the lock and open your gate. Now bear in mind that if you do leave your padlock on the floor, your code will be visible to anybody who picks it up. So there we have it, and now working gate to secure our base. Next up is the barbed wire. So here we have the barbed wire already in the attachment of the gate, and with my pliers in my hand, I'm going to look down to the floor where the barbed wire is, and with a little bit of moving around just to find the right spot, we'll be able to attach our barbed wire to the fence, upper and the lower section of the fence. And this is what the barbed wire looks like once it's been attached to the fence. Now that we have built our fence and added all the attachments, I'm going to show you how to take the items off the fence. With the pliers in your hand, walk up to one of the posts and look at the top. We can now see the prompt to remove the barbed wire from the top. Then looking around at the bottom of the post and at the barbed wire to get the prompt again. As the lock isn't on the gate works. But with the gate closed, I walk back over to the hinge side and look at the wire to get the prompt so I can remove the wire and dismantle the gate. I hope this video has been helpful. Please watch my other videos for more help, and happy surviving.